estamos hoy en la mañana. What a beautiful morning, sunny, hot morning to start. Silence is golden, folks. Okay, great. Buenos dias, good morning. And I'm very pleased to be here as the chair of the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy. The Conservancy is committed to be fair and equitable. The distribution of the 49 million that we have that's coming to us for the benefit of communities, children, neighborhoods next to the Los Angeles River. And we're very proud to have that role, and we're excited that this is going to bring communities closer together to enjoy this beautiful river, that they will have open space, that children who traditionally have not even seen butterflies or birds sing, that they will. So thank you so much for joining us today. I have the great pleasure to be here at this beautiful Santa Monica Mountains built Marsh Park. So thank you so much for being here. This is a historic day, not only for the residents here, but the entire city and county of Los Angeles, that we have this kind of funding to bring back La Madre Tierra with Los Angeles River. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Irma Munoz. It's indeed an honor and pleasure to be here this morning. My name is Kevin de León. I'm the president of the California State Senate, and I want to say good morning to each and every one of you. So good morning. Good morning. This is a glorious day, without question. This is a beautiful day in Los Angeles. I'm very proud to be here with my colleagues in the Senate, as well as the Assembly, as well as community members, as well as representation from the mayor's office here today, because this indeed is a very historic day. It's historic because today we are announcing the largest investment in the LA River revitalization and restoration in the history of the Los Angeles River. $100 million. $100 million for LA River. This is an important milestone for Los Angeles and for our efforts to reclaim and revitalize the entire 51-mile span of the LA River. This has been a decades-long priority of mine, something I've been fighting for since the first time I was elected back in 2006 in the Assembly, including leading a negotiation for $25 million budget allocation a few years ago that made it quite possible for the city and the state to acquire the Taylor Yard parcel land, which is known as G2. I think Mayor Eric Garcetti, Barbara Romero, myself, as well as a few others celebrated that day just a few months ago. But this river has inspired a long history of activism and community service. It is beloved in spite of its many, many challenges. And I'm proud to see the extensive work of a broad coalition of advocates and local leaders finally paying dividends for this great city, for this great state. I want to give a very special thank you to the Friends of the Los Angeles River, FOLAR, Louis McAdams and Marissa Christiansen. I saw Marissa here. For their work over the past 3 decades to help us get us to this point. I also want to recognize Omar, Brownson, and RiverLA, as well as the chair of the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, Irma Munoz, and all the individuals, all the residents, all the community activists and activists who have advocated over so many years to reclaim this river that belongs to each and every one of us. Now, everyone has spoken about the promise of the Emerald Necklace. No more promises, because that's now coming to fruition. Because with the $100 million, now it's about action. Now, we do have a ways to go, no question about it. But I'm excited, as well as the senators and assembly members who represent 51 miles of the LA River here in the city of Los Angeles, as well as our other neighbors south of Boyle Heights in downtown Los Angeles to the port of Long Beach. But I'm so excited because this is the beginning of a promise. $100 million for the LA River. This is just the beginning. This is indeed a very historic day. With that, I want to bring up our senator, part of a good portion of the valley. He represents, I would say, probably 2/3, if not 3/4 of the valley. Let's give it up for Senator Bob Hertzberg. Senator Bob Hertzberg.
And let's give it up for the President of the Senate, whose vision this whole thing is, and has been working on this, and whose reason we're in this park today is because of the work that he's been doing. So I want to thank you, Mr. Pro Tempore. You know, this river ties the entire community of Los Angeles, not just the city, but number of cities, the 88 cities, so many of them together from Canoga Park all the way to Long Beach. And in 1938, the city leaders at the time, their vision was a stormwater channel to race the water out of the region into the ocean, and they built this concrete thing that we call the LA River. Today, the leaders of Los Angeles have a new vision, a sustainable vision, a vision that integrates the river with the community, a vision that abandons the concrete jungle that informed the thinking some decades ago, and offers a new vision. A vision that I think will, with transportation funding, with development funding, with all sorts of other funding, has an opportunity for a really big idea. And I want to thank the Pro Tem. I want to thank all the other senators. I want to thank Bucanegra over there for the Big Tujunga Wash and putting this stuff in, for my cohort and the other part of the San Fernando Valley, and Mr. Portantino, who's here, to be part of this big vision. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bob. I know it's you use the official title, Senate President, Senate Leader. It's official title, Senate President Pro Tempore. Some folks have confused that with shrimp tempura. You know? I have been called that, Senate President Shrimp Tempura, before. Let's bring up for the newly elected member from Pasadena, La Cañada, Flint Ridge. Let's get up for Senator Anthony Portantino. Senator Anthony Portantino.
Jumbo shrimp.
Don't go there.
I do want to echo Senator Hertzberg's comments. Let's give it up for Senate Pro Tem Kevin de León for having the vision, for bringing us all here today. And our good friend Irma. Where's Irma? Right here. Chairing the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, because this is a team effort. Let's give it up for her as well. And a shout out to all the activists who day in, day out raise these issues to the level where their activism becomes action, and to have leadership that responds to that action. You know, all of the activists that use our parks, our water, our neighborhoods, who deserve to have a place that they can go to that connects one to all, is just magnificent. My district starts about a quarter mile that way, and the river goes all the way up into Raul's district as well. And so for me, this is extremely exciting to know that Glendale and the work that's going to be done through this allocation is just going to connect communities, and that's why we're all here. You know, what affects one of us affects all of us. And if anybody thinks about Los Angeles history, has been pointed out, we've been fighting over water, we've been fighting over a fragmented community that's spread all out, and what brings us together are rivers and roads, but it's also the spirit of somebody who wants to bring us together and say we're one great state and one great community, and having leadership that does that. I'm just proud to be here, and thank you all for sharing this. And I look forward, my staff tells me they're going to be going kayaking right behind us. So, you know, I think all of our staff should make a day and do a kayaking day on the Los Angeles River. Team Portantino's challenging you all to a kayak race right now. We're throwing down. So let's kayak and let's enjoy the work that's being done today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Senator Anthony Portantino. I think there's a challenge to Senator Henry Stern. Henry Stern and Portantino race one-on-one down the LA River.
Let's go. I'll take them down.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
First one down the LA River gets an augmentation in their state budget right there. Let's get up also too for one of the newest members. He is the chairman of the elections and Constitution amendments. He is a bright young voice. He is an incredible environmentalist. He brings a keen, sharp mind to the issues of climate change and carbon reduction and other criteria pollutants. I'm excited that he's a member of our state Senate caucus. Let's get up for Senator Henry Stern. Henry Stern.
Feel the burn, the stern.
Hold the phone.
Look, the president pro tem holds my coat and I'm the freshman. I don't know how that works, but I do not deserve the honor. Listen, I'll be brief. You don't want to give the microphone to too many politicians all at once. The people who did the hard work today are the staff, folks like Omar and RiverLA, Irma and the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, and frankly the pro tem and his staff, lifting on a project that was forgotten for decades. No one talked about the LA River. Now everyone's talking about it. And I see some young men from Sotomayor High School behind me. My goal, it's not just the kayak race down the river, but I want Canoga Park High School and Sotomayor High School to connect. And I think, in the not too distant future, you're going to see a day where young people can connect the valley to Los Angeles in a way that we really think of ourselves as two different worlds sometimes, and it's not true. We're one. We're just one. And so maybe kayak, but I'm up for a paddleboard too if people want to surf down that river between Sotomayor and Canoga Park. I think we can get it done. So thank you for having big vision, political leadership, and a real know-how to make LA green again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Senator Henry Stern. Next, we have a good friend of mine. He is the assembly member for this area here in Frogtown, good parts of the Los Angeles River. Yeah. Elysian Valley and other parts here. He is an individual who I think we're all going to miss, quite frankly. He's leaving us, the state capital, and going to another nation's capital. We worked together to make sure that this happened, and I want to get up for my good friend, a tireless champion for the environment, for this LA River. Let's give it up for Congressman-elect Jimmy Gomez. Come on, Jimmy.
I just want to thank the Pro Tem for organizing this press conference today. Mr. Portantino, he's 3 years too late. I already kayaked the LA River about 3-4 years ago. So it's time to catch up, but the challenge is thrown down, and we're definitely going to go on the river and have that kayak race. You know what? This is this project, when it comes to the restoring and the rehabilitation of the Los Angeles River, is something that's been really the imagination started with the community activists, all the people in the area that believed that the river didn't have to be something that divided people, but actually brought people together. So when I was running for assembly, it was all about how do we get more resources to restore the LA River. The water bond in 2014 was one of the first vehicles, but it's not going to be the last. The idea is to connect all 51 miles, but also to create great urban parks that feed into the Los Angeles River, including the LA State Historic Park that the Pro Tem and I help get the money to finish the completion, and then at the same time all the community activists that are keep on advocating for more open space. So this is just another step. Now my time, once I get sworn in, will be to advocate for the Los Angeles River at the federal level and see if we can get the money that's necessary to fulfill Alternative 20. And that'll be one of my top priorities. So I look forward to working with all of you in my new capacity. Thank you so much, and let's give a round of applause to all the community people that are here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. And we really look forward, given the tone and tenor of the national body politic, we really look forward to having you as our voice and, quite frankly, the sharp end of the spear in Washington to advocate for progressive values, which are American values here in the great state of California. Next, we have an assembly member who's just right down the road, and he represents large parts of Boyle Heights. He's an incredible advocate himself, who's been a true champion for the LA River, but especially parts of the LA River that have yet to be greened. And he's an individual who's since day one, since he got elected to me, he's been there when it comes to clean air, clean water, restoring this river, not just in this part of LA, but in south of downtown and Boyle Heights. Let's get up for our assembly member of Boyle Heights, that is assembly member Miguel Santiago, and his beautiful daughter, Brianna.
And thank you, Senator Pro Tem, for bringing us together and having us here on this historic day. Look, my name is Miguel Santiago, and I represent a portion south of here. But I'll tell you what's historic about this beyond the $100 million that we're getting. beyond the $100 million that we're getting, what's historic about today is the fact that we can point to projects where the legislature works and can get things done. Because we got $100 million for this area. And when we started this conversation last year, many would remember here, we wanted to talk about restoring all of Los Angeles and not leaving parts behind. Because historically in the past, we restore certain areas, the areas that do well. And you don't invest monies in areas where typically you have disadvantaged communities. And what's unique about the project that's put together today is that it has $13 million that'll be divided between two conservancies. Now, what that means for some of us who represent disadvantaged communities in the center of Los Angeles is that both conservancies will have to agree to the projects, which means we'll get the dollars to begin the connection that we've been fighting for decades. Now, community members here have always fought for monies here. And this budget allocation will allow us to actually start connecting the dots so that we don't leave any part of Los Angeles behind. And look, this is really important for some of us because we live in neighborhoods where there might be investments, but our folks have to get in a car or take a bus and then get to the area that's green. And we want to prevent that. So this budget is not only about greening Los Angeles and doing the river in a way that helps some communities, but really it's an advancing a social justice agenda that helps us to connect areas that have been left behind historically. So we applaud the work that's been getting done. We know that it's important. Y si hay aquí medios de comunicación en español, es importante que sepan que este presupuesto no solamente es para mejorar a todo Los Ángeles, pero también es para mejorar las áreas de Los Ángeles donde últimamente no se había visto invertimiento. Y esto es muy importante porque sabemos que Sacramento trabaja y que nosotros también respondemos y ayudamos con el presupuesto. Adiós.
Perfecto, señor.
Gracias, asambleísta Miguel Santiago, nuestro gallo de Boyle Heights. Next, we have from San Fernando Valley, actually from Pacoima and the city of San Fernando, an assembly member who has also been a true champion of the LA River. And he has many tributaries that feed into the LA River. And I think it's very illustrative, especially I love what Mr. Portantino had to say with regards to bringing what has been historically a very fractured, segmented city, tearing those walls down among neighborhoods and having a river that brings us together. Well, this brings us together with our brothers and sisters in San Fernando Valley. And we have a true champion from San Fernando Valley who's been a champion of the LA River. Let's bring up the member from Pacoima, that is Assembly Member Raul Bocanegra. Raul.
Good morning. Buenos dias. Today is a really, really great day. It's a pleasure to be here. Now, if you don't know where Pacoima is, I'm sure you know where Richie Valens comes from, right? Yeah. So we're a few miles north of here. And I think that the Pro Tem's comments about connecting the city, connecting the area here of Southern California is very pronounced, because sometimes we've got a lot of fractures, sometimes we've got a lot of disconnections, and the LA River presents a promise and a opportunity. I want to thank the folks at FOLAR for their years of stewardship and all the NGOs and nonprofits. Before being elected last year to the State Assembly again, I was teaching a class at UCLA in the Chicano Studies Department, and I've got 2 weeks about the LA River that we talk about. And I also, before being elected, I'm the chairman of an environmental justice group not too far from here called Pacoima Beautiful. And we've done years and years of vision planning of what the tributaries could do to flow into the stem of the LA River. The Tujunga Wash that I share with Mr. Portantino and the Pacoima Wash that I share with Mr. Hertzberg, that it's an opportunity, because as the Pro Tem said, when we make the connections along the LA River and the tributaries, we're not just connecting neighborhoods, we're connecting people. And I think we're getting close to a promise and a vision of Los Angeles that we've all talked about, that we all share, that we all see from different lenses, whether you're from Elysian Valley or you're from Pacoima. So today is indeed a great day, and I'm just so very proud to be part of this effort and to remind our folks out here that, you know, not too far, there are dozens and dozens of miles of tributaries that need to also be part of this planning process. And I want you all here at FOLAR and all the other groups to see me as an ally, to see me as an advocate, and to see me as a bull that I'm going to be a bull for more increased funding, that this $100 million is just a start. It's just a start, and I'll work with my future colleague from in Congress, Jimmy Gomez, to make sure that we see more resources and targeted investments here along the LA River and its tributaries. Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem, for your vision, for your leadership, and for your stewardship.
Now, we just have 2 more individuals, and then we can open up for questions here collectively or individually. One thing I want to say is this is a culmination of local governments working together. In this instance, it is the state government along with our partners like Barbara Romero, city council members, and our mayor, Eric Garcetti, at the local level. This is a fruition, this is a combination. On the other side of this warehouse, we have another part of Marsh Park. That came from AB 31. That was the first bill I ever introduced in my entire life as a politician. That's how we got the money. Jimmy Gomez made reference where we secured $25 million to actually finish out our LA State Historic Park, and that's why it's open. We still want to do some more cosmetic changes. We want to plant more trees there and get some more shade there, but that's $25 million. G2 parcel acquisition with the city of Los Angeles. We went half and half on that one right there. That was $25 million for the acquisition. That is us working together. And now $100 million from the state. And this is just the beginning. This is when local governments work together, leverage together, talk to each other, so we're not segmented and we're isolated. This is us coming together because ultimately it's about our kids, it's about our children's children, it's about each and every one of you. So let's give it up here. Coming up, the Executive Director of FOLAR, the Friends of Los Angeles River, Marissa Christiansen. Marissa.
Good morning, River community. This is truly a historic moment for the LA River. Thanks in no small part to your collaborative leadership in getting out this money, we are $100 million closer to a restored and vibrant Los Angeles River for all. We're $100 million closer to cracking this concrete. And it's not just a historic moment because of this funding, but because of the unity and collaboration that every single person up here demonstrated in getting it out. This is the type of partnership that we're going to need to have in order to make real change on this river. And it couldn't come at a more crucial moment. All across the country, our environment and environmental organizations are under fire. But our California leadership demonstrates over and over again its commitment and its sharing in the vision that we have as environmental stewards for this future and for this river. So, as we say at FOLAR, it takes a friend. River restoration takes a friend. And today we are thrilled to have a friend in partner organizations like RiverLA, the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, the city, and of course at the state. So, Pro Tem, thank you so much for doing this for the river, and the river thanks you too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, we have the Executive Director of River of Los Angeles, another true champion who has been there in the trenches. Let's get it for Omar Brownson. Omar Brownson.
Channeling Frank Gehry. Good morning. It is awesome to be here. Really appreciate Kevin de León, our pro tem, for bringing us together, because that's what the Los Angeles River does. It brings Los Angeles together. I also want to give a shout out to the heron that's behind us, the 200 different bird species that are in the Los Angeles River. Before I talk about RiverLA, I just want to say personally why I do this work. We have one planet, and we have to learn to share it. And I feel like that's the exercise that we're going through in the Los Angeles River, is learning to share space here in Los Angeles. How do we share it with the environment? How do we share it among communities? That is, I think, our great challenge. It reminded me of President Obama's last sort of formal remarks where he said, our democracy needed to be strengthened by showing up, diving in, and persevering. Pro Tem, you've done that for us. Santa Monica Mountains Conservancies, the Rivers and Mountains Conservancies, the 17 cities, the county, and the state that are here. 3 years ago, we changed our mission to figure out how to integrate design and infrastructure to bring people, water, and nature together. We thought there was no better person to do that than with Frank Gehry. He has the design and technical expertise to really think through both the opportunity but the true challenges. When Godzilla comes, as he would say, a lot of water comes roaring down the river, and we have to respect that water. And it is through that respect and really understanding these challenges that we can then bring communities together. And so thank you so much for this $100 million. This is going to go a long way to bringing that vision forward. And it's going to take a lot more showing up, diving in, and persevering. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Omar. And last but not least, we have the Deputy Mayor of the City of Los Angeles representing our Mayor, Eric Garcetti. I want to bring her up here because we worked so well together in partnership on the G2 parcel as well as numerous projects up and down the river, LA River. Let's get up for our Deputy Mayor. Let's get up. Barbara Romero.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. On behalf of the City of Los Angeles and Mayor Garcetti, we want to say thank you to the state of California. As in this time, California is leading the way. Climate change is real, and this is a tangible way to demonstrate to people how important it is to invest in communities. I just want to say to Kevin personally, since he, as he mentioned, when before he was elected, he went around and talked to people and asked, how do I change and how do I support the river? So he has personally, hand in hand, delivered on promises that we made at the city and at the state and at the federal level to the people of Los Angeles to deliver on projects. We have plenty of plans. We have to deliver projects. And as Joe Edmondson always says, the best way to connect people and to help people understand what we mean about revitalizing the river is about delivering on projects like this so that people can connect not only to each other but to the environment and to actually help find what their happiness and what their future lies. I know for me as a girl from Boa Heights, connecting with nature helped me bring opportunities about what is possible and what and how you can actually play a role in changing your neighborhood and changing your environment. So I want to say thank you not only to the to the kids who are going to benefit today, but also for the future generations for your personal commitment to reinvesting and investing not only in our city but in our future generation of children. Thank you.
All right, I want to make sure that we do a shout out here because we have members, community members from Anahuac that are present here today. Anahuac group is here present here today. We have folks, Los Braceros are in the house here today as well. We have Raul Macias over here as well today, inconspicuously over here. I want to make sure we got any other shout outs we need to make out here today. All right. We got YouTube channel right over here.
We got from Sotomayor High School.
Okay, we got Sotomayor High School in the house as well here too. And the last thing I'll say, and then we'll open it up for individual questions. We got members here, got senators, assembly members, community-based organizations, community leaders, is, let me be very clear. With President Trump's pullout of the Paris Accords, Conference of Parties 21, California's commitment and resolve to the issue of climate change is stronger than ever. We're not retreating. In fact, we're moving forward. Stronger and more committed than ever before. And I think the $100 million, a historic investment, because we've been talking about the river for decades. But now we have to get beyond the talk, and now we have to deliver what the necessary resources so we can start busting up the asphalt, the concrete, and the cement to provide another vision for this great city, because this goes beyond the city of Los Angeles. This is for the state of California and for the entire nation. 51 miles of an emerald necklace that's going to come to fruition in the future. This $100 million is the beginning of lots of money in the near future, working together, all of us here at the city, at the state, county, and federal level. But our resolve collectively together to our environment so our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water is stronger than ever. And no one in Washington, D.C. will ever stop us from doing that. With that, God bless you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. And if you want any individual interviews right here, we got Raul, Anthony, Henry, Omar, Marissa, Bob Hertzberg, Jimmy Gomez, Miguel Santiago, community-based organizations. Go at it, folks. It's all yours, guys.